Beyond the United States as Americans decide who will become the next president. But some of those international eyes are already paying attention to this election. There are 64 international election observers spread out across the country right now, including 2 right here in Battleground, Wisconsin. Braden Ross has the story.
With just 13 days until the ballot count starts, it's not just our fellow Americans that have their eyes on this election.
We've tried the cheese curds.
When Thomas Leska and Indiana Falez found out they'd be making their way to Wisconsin, they did their research.
I found out that this is a state that has, a considerable history of German immigration. And I could already, smell in the air that this would involve beer.
But they're here for more than just the delicacies. They're here for democracy.
I think that if every country were left alone with their own, democratic problems, it would be much harder for them to solve it, because sometimes to have that, external view on your own situation is so super helpful.
Leska and Falez are part of an international team of election observers from the Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe.
This is an organization that is made up of the governments of 57 countries, including the United States of America.
They observe elections across the globe.
I've been involved in observing elections in the past 20 years in 25 different countries.
And create reports and recommendations based on what they see. For example, here's what they found in the U.S. in 2020.
The 3rd November general elections were competitive and well managed, despite legal uncertainties and logistical challenges.
They'll be in Wisconsin for the last month of the U.S. general elections, talking to stakeholders about the state of our democracy.
We see if the secrecy of the vote is respected, if all political parties can campaign without intimidation, if the government is using public resources to promote one party or the other.
Those stakeholders include the media. Leska and Falez even stopped by the News 3 Now studio to learn about our experience covering the election. It's not easy work, and they have to spend weeks away from their families to do it. But they say watching democracy in action and making sure it stays healthy is worth it.
The recommendations we make are followed up on. So that feels like you're making a contribution.
In developing countries, people are really eager to vote and participate in elections, whereas in northern countries, rich countries, people tend not to participate as much, and they don't realize the privilege it is to be able to cast your ballot and participate. I think it's my commitment as a citizen to promote democracy around the world.
There are OSCE election observers stationed in every state except Alaska and Hawaii for this election. They'll stick around for about a week after Election Day and release their full report next year.